Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Flatwoods Hunting Adventures. Got a very exciting episode coming up, may even turn it into a series. So this is my original Ruger Precision Rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor. Loved it, still love it. Got it the first year that the Ruger Precision came out. It really got me solidified into super long distance stuff. And I say super long distance for me, 1,000-yard kind of things. Nothing really much done to it except lighten the trigger a little bit and Cerakoted the blue barrel and the action back here. I did replace the bolt knob, and I've shot Outlaw Bench Rest with it, won a lot of medals with it. I've shot F-Class Open with it. It's been a great rifle. The last season that I shot F-Class, it would have been prior to COVID-19. I actually finally shot out the barrel. No telling how many rounds. My guess is in excess of 4,000 over its life. And it's been sitting in the back of the gun safe ever since. And so my wonderful wife, Miss Katie, for my birthday, has got me a new Bartman 5R from White Oak Armament coming. Should be here tomorrow. And with that said, I'm going to do some things before I rebarrel it. So I got to looking at the lugs here, and yeah, I've got full contact, well, I'd say 3/4 contact on this lug. I've got about maybe a third contact on this lug, and I'm not even sure that this lug is touching. So before I put the barrel on it tomorrow, and I'm going to run a scope through that barrel for you before I do, or maybe after I install it, either way, before I shoot it, I am going to lap these lugs in. So those of you that aren't familiar with that, it is not a tough process at all. Basically, you are going to either use Dicam or a Sharpie and mark the back of these lugs. You're going to put the bolt in the rifle with lapping compound on the back side of the lugs, and you are going to work the bolt up and down. I usually put an empty case in there and work the bolt up and down until I get full contact all the way around the back of the lugs here. That is going to create full contact when it locks up, and it's going to help reduce our harmonic vibrations and hopefully make a more accurate rifle. So the first step is lap the lugs. I'm not going to do a video on that. Super simple. Lapping compound, put it in, empty case, work it till you get full contact, and you're good to go. This will continue at my gunsmith, Mr. Michael Deloach at 9 Run Guns. We're going to put a barrel on it tomorrow. And I don't know, maybe with the weather this weekend, we'll be able to shoot it. I've got some new brass on the way. I put express shipping on it, but it's kind of close to the holidays, so who knows when I'll get it. I don't have even shipping confirmation at this time. But if not, I've got some older Hornady brass that we can use just to get it sighted in, just kind of get an idea how it's working. Stick around. It's going to be a fun episode. Thank you for watching. Here we are. It's been a couple days. My brass didn't show up. I'm glad I waited on it, though. Got the barrel installed. This is the White Oak Armament. It's 1 in 7.5 twist. Man, I don't know who was putting the barrel nuts on a Ruger that day, but good gracious, that was big old strong fella or strong woman one. At the end of the day, we knew Generation 1s have a tendency to be tight. Took a bit of heat, but we did get it off, managed to get it installed. Go, no-go gauge, absolutely perfect. I didn't want to bore you with the actual fact of me trying to find pressure in brass. I will say that the Hornady brass that I used to run was 148 grains. And when my Peterson, by the way, check this out, comes in, and I'm talking just absolutely perfect brass. Comes in a case too, so saves you some money. But this averages about 166. There was a 2.7 grain extreme spread between the lightest to the heaviest cases, and the necks though are super consistent at about 14 thousandths or 15 thousandths, excuse me. And I usually turn mine to 14 thousandths. So I'm just going to clean them up. We're in the process of fire forming and trying to find the pressure because there was so much pressure difference between the cases. We are using the 130 Burger OTMs. I do use Widden Gunworks dies. I'm running CCI large rifle primers because I'm out of interest primers. I haven't seen any in years. I say all that to say this. When I first got home that evening, I couldn't wait. It was actually Friday evening, and I had some old loads that were loaded up for the old barrel, and I figured, why not? And I was super impressed after zeroing the scope. Sorry, these are the hole punches. I'll put this close up either down here or down here. But check out that group. After sighting in, that was the first group out of the gun. It was basically shots like 6 through 8, I believe. So was very impressed with that. And then because of the extreme difference in the brass thickness, I decided I probably better do a pressure test before I try to go back to my normal accuracy node that I found on a bunch of Creedmoor rifles. It's a little bit above published data. It's just the way the 1,000-yard Creedmoor works. I've had loads in the cooler nodes as well, but I want to stay transonic out to 1,000, and I've been doing it for years, as have many competitive shooters. Long story short, I went from the starting weight, or the lowest I've ever started a Creedmoor, in half grain increments through a total of 8 shots, way actually to this load, even with a thicker brass. Absolutely no pressure signs. And the Peterson brass, that stuff is built like a tank, it seems. But what shocked me, I've never done a ladder test like this. I mean, granted, it was 100 yards, but you're looking at a 1-minute angle through the entire scope of the powder charges that I would even consider using, and it just blew my mind. I mean, it was like 3.5 grains difference there, no, almost 4 grains difference. So even more impressive is shots 5 and 6 is coincidentally a grain lighter, roughly a grain and a half lighter than my old competition load. And they went into a .237. I know that 2 shots don't make a difference, but here's what's even cooler is that there were 7 feet per second difference over half a grain. So we're gonna do some verification tests today. I'm not going to make you watch all that. I'm just glad you subscribed. Please make sure that you like this video, help the algorithm. I have some OCW targets. Basically, this is a sighter, and then we're going in 2/10 charge weights to 2/10 under that shot number 5. And then we're going all the way to 2/10 over shot number 6 to see if we can find an accuracy note in there. So we'll shoot both sighters first, and then we'll do load 1 1 shot, load 2 1 shot, load 3 1 shot, 1 4 load 1 shot, and 1 5, and then go back. Load 1, load 2, load 3, load 4, load 5, load 1, load 2, load 3, load 4, load 5. It's called the OCW method, and it prevents a lot of extraneous data. I think the gun's going to shoot. We're about to find out. About to take it out to the range. Got them loaded up last night. Here's my sighters. Here are my loads. And I'll put a GoPro down range and we'll time lapse it, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Stick around. This has been a lot of fun so far. Well, this is certainly not the weather that I'm used to in South Georgia, but it's my birthday and I got the day off, so we're doing it anyway. It's windy, it's cold, it's about 41 degrees. To me, that's cold. Remember, I live in South Georgia. I was really impressed with my groups for my OCW yesterday. You know, that one group went 2-3-3, and then on either side of it, it was still, well, nothing shot over minute angle. And so what I've done is I've taken that load, which happens to be Berger's max load, so I'm not over max, of the 130 OTM, and that was the one that shot the best, and I've taken it and I've about to do another OCW, but this time with seating depth. And the idea here is, I want to get the ES down, and even though it's windy, I still should get good readings from the Labdar. It's a beautiful day, even though it's cold. And the idea here is to find the longest node that shoots from a seating depth situation. And I would like to have possibly 6 thousandths where it has a low ES, shoots a great group. And the idea is from this that as the barrel wears and the throat wears, that if I set it to my longest one which grouped, that I should not have to move my bullet. And so even if it's a little bit, I mean, come on guys, if it's a half-minute angle group at 600 yards and it's consistent, in F-class you're shooting a 3-inch group. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll time-lapse it like I did the other one. I'm going to set the GoPro down there, and hopefully I'm not expecting incredible groups because of the wind, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching so far. It's been a fun journey. Three different outfits in one video, right? It's been a 3-week process. Holidays are now over. I have spent some time with it. I went to verify the groups from the OCW that I did with the 130s, and it just wasn't as tight as I thought that this barrel can be. This barrel is incredible white oak armament. My God, such an incredible barrel. The lapping of the lugs. Thank you, Michael DeLoach, for helping me get this installed. But at the end of the day, I was like, I think I can squeeze a little bit more out of it. I had some 147s, Hornady 147s down in my cabinet, and I was like, I don't want to do it on camera. The video is already long. Let's try it out. So I did another OCW. Those of you that, these are holes from the notebook that I keep everything in for this gun. I do a notebook for every gun. It's a good idea, by the way, if you're going to be competitive. And I had some pretty crazy OCW results in a good way. Now, the groups weren't as tight to start with. And I had a screamer over here, well under published data, well over 1,000 yard capable with the speeds I was getting. And then I had another one as well. And so I went back, I confirmed those, and it turns out that 40.1 grains is a magic holy grail with the Hornady 147. I've shot it 2 or 3 times and have gotten some crazy groups. I decided to screw my can on it and just see, even though I can't use it in F-class for local matches, it's perfectly fine. And to my amazement, these two right here were from me seeing what the drop was on the can, made an adjustment, probably should have gone another click, and I shot a 5-shot .248. Jaw slacked, shot it multiple times, still did it. The ES is a little higher than I would like it, and so I've got some techniques that I'm going to bring that down. I feel like I can get it maybe in the teens, possibly in the teens, and I think it's going to be my load. Because it's shooting so well, I have upgraded the grip. I put the Magpul MOE on it, and I've got a Jard, just came today, 8-ounce trigger, competition style trigger. Well, actually I say it's competition style, it depends on your preference, whether it be straight or curved, but an 8-ounce trigger that I'm about to install. At the end of the day, if you want to be competitive, or if you just want the best out of your rifle, you've got to test some more, and then test again. Over the whole course of all this testing, I have less than 200 rounds down the barrel. My brass is fire formed. I know 2 loads that it likes very well. The 130 shot incredibly well, but they were a little wider. After confirmed testing, it wasn't as consistent as the 147s. And that's what we do to reload. Pick good components. Pick good things for your rifle. This is a stock, well, I say stock, it was a stock Ruger Precision. You don't have to spend an $8,000 on a gun to make it shoot incredible. I have shot this 1/4 inch-ish area, somewhere between 2.48 and 0.33, at least 4 times, verifying this load, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, and it shoots. So now we're going to try to bring down the ES a little bit and see what we can do. Excuse me, I've got to order some more brass so I can do some F-class. Of course, I can't shoot F-class with my suppressor. I'm going to install this trigger. This is the factory trigger that I've done some adjustment to. It's okay, but it's not an 8-ounce trigger that I can control sear and over travel and spring tension. So I hope you've learned something today. I certainly have. I'm a big fan of white oak armament now. White oak armament, every barrel I need for Ruger Precision from now on is going for you. Jard, I have not installed it yet, but based upon what I'm looking at, thank you so very much. It's not a sponsor of this channel or anything. I paid for this with my own money, but being able to take the creep out of the factory trigger, being able to set the sear engagement, being able to set the over travel, and being able to set the spring tension is incredible. Please make sure that you like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It's not like this channel at the moment is monetized or anything. I've got some really cool things coming up. I hope to see you again. Have a nice day.